Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting radio-exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
Stop right there. Yeah, you. If you like all things entertainment, current events, or Hollywood, then look no further. Creator to Creators, hosted by director Meosha of Horror Noir, interviews filmmakers and creatives from around the world. Join in on the fun, guest celebrities, and informative information to have as a creator. Hit subscribe and stay connected to Creator to Creators.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Creator to Creators today. Today we have a special guest.
Hi, I'm Adriana Adler.
Welcome to the show, love.
Thank you.
Well, I'm so glad you could come on and talk to me. I met you on a set. It was a mutual friend, Kaye.
Mm-hmm.
It was really fun, adventurous day, I must say.
Yes.
It was really cool. It was nice.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun that day.
That's awesome. So I like to start with every guest from the beginning. What was your childhood like, and how did you kind of find your way into the creative world?
Okay, so I born and raised in Southern California. I live in Simi Valley. I've lived here since I was 7 years old. And before then it was Moore Park for 5 years, which is the next city over. So my mom is an artist, so she paints and stuff. So from a young age, I've been drawing and painting. So the creative gene has been there for a long time.
Love that.
And when I was little, I used to always love doing pretend, that kind of stuff. And then it wasn't until 7th grade, my best friend Brooke at the time wanted to do drama club. So she's like, you should do it with me. And I was like, okay. So that was my first introduction to theater. And it was just a lot of fun, like goofing around with friends. And my first time like on a big stage. And you hear about kids with stage fright, and I never really had that. I'm like, oh, I'm in front of people. Cool.
I'm here.
Exactly. Yeah.
That
was kind of how I got into it.
That's exciting. That's really cool. Yeah. That's really cool that your mom was an artist. Like that is, I didn't know you paint. I had no idea.
Yes, I do. Yeah, awesome. Actually, of course I don't. Well, right. You can kind of see on the wall. Yeah, I'm like, I normally have a little painting with me, but I don't remember where I put it, but.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. When did you say, okay, this is what I want to do versus art, or maybe combine the both? I don't know. What did you?
Okay, so it was middle of high school in 10th grade that I did the play, and or my first play, and it was really fun. And then I did the drama class there for 2 years, and I was drama club president my senior year of high school. But I always thought like, oh, I'm not going to do theater. Like that's not the money making business.
Right.
So when I went to college, I went to Cal Lutheran, and I went in with a math degree. But since I was such a nerd in high school, I had done a lot of AP classes, so I had a lot of credits going in. So going into college, I had a little over a semester already done.
Nice.
So I had enough to add another degree. Nice. So at first, I'm like, I'm going to do art because I love art, I love painting and stuff. And I did take a couple art classes, and I did enjoy it, but then I also wanted to do theater, and I was like, okay, well, I can't do math and theater and art. So then I swapped out the art for theater.
Nice.
And then it wasn't until I want to say my senior year of college, it was in the middle of me doing my final math project presentation. Uh-huh. And I was kind of thinking like, I really don't want to do this the rest of my life. Like, I really don't want to do math the whole time. So that was kind of where I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to try acting. And if acting doesn't work out, then I always have math to fall back on.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, it was probably like my senior year, end of the first semester. I was like, you know what, I want to try acting.
That's awesome. And what an interesting road it leads to, right? It's interesting adventure to go on for sure. Like, what was your first initial thoughts in acting? Okay, I got to get an agent. Like, what did you do? Like, just start making stuff yourself, writing?
Okay, so my senior year of college, the frustrating part is I got a degree in theater with the performance emphasis, which was great. You learn different acting techniques, speech, all that fun stuff, but they don't really tell you anything about the business side.
Right.
The closest thing they did was like, create an actor's access, but they didn't tell you like really what it was, how to use it. So then my first year out of college, I was kind of lost. I did do the background acting thing because I heard like, oh, if you get into background, and it was good for the experience of being on an actual set, dealing with people, seeing how it was run. It was great, but waking up at 3 a.m. to leave at 4, and then you drive down there, and then they'd switch the location. And I have anxiety with driving to new places I've never been to, and with parking. So,
oh God, right?
Literally like the worst thing ever. So I did about 4 of those to start with, and then I took somehow through acting, I don't know, with friends or whatever, I found out about a business marketing thing for actors. So it was with Dallas Travers at the time. And so I paid for that thing, and it did help somewhat, but I just found like, it sounds so easy when they're going through it, but then when you're left on your own, I was just like, I don't know what to do. That was kind of how I started, like, just trying to figure out, they do the send out headshots.
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting radio-exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
Doing drop-offs, all that stuff. And I tried all of it, but it didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
And then I was in my senior year of college. I started with my Meisner Technique teacher, Markus Flanagan. So I started with him, and then I was with him for about 6 years total.
Okay.
And that was another thing too, is they always say, oh, try and take classes with, casting directors, those type of people. And again, it was like, okay, I'm not really learning anything.
Really?
I'm spending all this money, and some classes were better than others, but that's the reason I stayed with Markus as long as I did, is because I learned more in one class with him than, with other teachers. And it's just, again, driving down to Hollywood and all the traffic, and then you spend all this money, and it was just, frustrating.
Yeah, it's not the glamorous, thing that we picture, from television. We're like, oh, I want to do that. But then the work, I mean, it's literally work,
It is. Yeah. And I think the hardest thing for me is just like growing up, like my family didn't have a lot of money. So for me, I'd always save my money to buy my own yearbooks, go to dances, all that stuff. So it was really hard for me to spend money on things that I knew wasn't a for sure thing.
Right.
So I did have to kind of let some of that go and do the investment. But that's been like probably the hardest thing for me personally, is like, oh my gosh, I'm spending money. Is it worth it? Is it not? In the end, you get experience. It's worth it in the end. But and I know also one of the things they always said was, it's about who you know. You make those connections. And I was like, I don't know anyone.
But you're so likable. I mean, I think, first time meeting you, I was like, oh, you're so funny. And then, it's very open. So it's like, I would think it would be easy for you to like, meet people,
Well, and that is one thing, like, well, obviously I met you through acting, and I met my other good friends through actually one of the classes with Markus my last year. That's how I met Natasha, how I met Kaye, how I met you. So it does definitely work with that type of stuff. It just, it took me a while to get there. It took several years of doing the classes, but I am thankful for the connection I have made. So
do you think that the industry is, when it comes to acting, is it, I mean, obviously there's no right roadmap to success or whatever. How do you do it? Like, how do you manage? Like, how do you keep self like from getting like depressed? Because it's a tough industry. Like, what do you do?
Well, thankfully I have a really good support system.
That's
it
good.
has helped because my mom is an artist, though it's painting. She does understand, hey, you're in a really competitive career and you got to push for it.
Yeah.
So having her just kind of from day one going like, hey, if you want to do it, do it. That's been helpful. My boyfriend is super supportive. He's always there to help me with auditions. And even when I don't want to do it, I'm like, oh, I don't want to. He's like, let's just do it. Let's get it done. So, because he's also in an artistic career. He's trying to, he does like 3D modeling and art. So it's nice because he understands the struggle as well. So we always joke, we take turns like supporting one each of the highs and the lows.
It's a lot of that. It's definitely a lot of that. What was, I guess, your greatest role or the learning experience from an acting role that you did take?
So one of my first, I was an extra on a show or a commercial thing. They needed extras. And then through that, I met the people filming and producers, all that stuff. And I gave them my business card. And then they liked me and actually emailed me later. So that was a good learning experience. Like, okay, I was prepared, be prepared kind of thing. And then with them, it was, I did 2 little commercials with them for a product called Sunday Scaries. So it was a comedic, fun commercial role. So that one was really fun. And just when I was on set, I was kind of like, okay, this is what I want to do. And everyone was just so nice. And then also kind of really like stuck in that, like, yes, relationships are important, always be nice, always, don't burn any bridges and stuff like that.
I've had so many bridges that collapsed, and it wasn't like intentionally or like from what I did. I think it just happens sometimes. Like some people kind of it's an interesting industry.
Yeah, and it's weird too, because you're dealing with so many different personality types that you're like, oh, I think you're one way. And then you're like, oh, maybe not.
Oh, okay.
And then another one, the one time I was on TV, it was for a series called Betrayed.
Nice.
So it was one of those like where they do the reenactments of actual murders that happen. So I got to play a detective. Nice. And that was so fun. I was so excited to get like the fake badge. And I was like, oh, it's official. But again, that was one too, where I realized like, though I love comedy, I also love the seriousness too. Yes. People always go, what do you like better? And I'm like, I don't know. I love both sides. But, and again, that was kind of one of those that was about a couple months after the comedic commercial thing I did. And that was an actual film thing. Nice. So I was like, okay, though I love commercials, I really want to do TV and film. And again, everyone was just so nice. And it was really cool to be on a real set. And then, right. Being in the makeup chair, I'm like, oh, it's for me. Like, I'm not doing my own makeup for once.
Right. Did you feel like in that moment, like, wow, yes, like those wins, do you feel like, obviously, it definitely, I'm sure it gives you the confidence, like, to keep going. Like, it's great to have those along the way. It's like, okay, my work is not in vain. Kind of.
Yes, no, those definitely help. Like when you finally get something, you're kind of like, okay, I am good at this. I think still. And again, that's what helps, having the support system. Like even with Natasha and Kaye, having other friends when you're working on stuff and they're like, hey, that was really good. And they're other actors, so they're not just BSing. And like, I love my non-actor friends, but sometimes they're like, oh, it's good. And you're like, was it actually good? Or are you just saying that? I don't know.
Right. You never know. Yeah. It's I really like I think that's how we get we get better, I think, with anything, whatever field that we choose in this industry, writing, acting, film. I love like truth. And like, is this crap or am I crazy? Like, I need to know.
Well, and it's nice to have the honesty and like, and it's nice to find those people that are honest with you, but they do it in a kind way.
Yes.
Like they give you nice constructive criticism. They're not just like, well, that was crap.
I'm like, I've had some really interesting, like some people like, I've had some bad reviews. I put like a film out and I mean, it's like, I'm like, oh, I'm thinking it's all good in my head. I'm like, oh man. But over time, I'm like, this makes me better. Now I know like kind of what to do or what not to do or kind of what to avoid. But it's a learning process for sure.
It definitely is. And it also, for me, it's learning how to take criticism. Because I know like in the beginning, it's hard whenever you do art because it's vulnerable. You're putting yourself out there. So then when someone like you put something out there, you're like, okay. And then when someone says, oh, it wasn't the best, like your first instinct is to get upset or to get hurt. So thankfully, like through acting classes, I think that was a big thing. What was important to do the classes is that it's like, okay, created a safe space to make these mistakes, to grow, have these emotions versus being on your set for the first time and getting upset at a director.
I know.
Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Do's and don'ts of on set. Oh, there's so many. You know, as a female, as an actress, do you feel like the industry is changing for women, particularly?
I think so. It has
How so?
Well, just seeing different shows and stuff where it's more okay, the woman's the lead character kind of thing has been nice. Although there is,
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting radio exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
It's hard. Sometimes I'll get frustrated when I'll go like there's been so many times where I was like, oh, I wish I was a man. I feel like I could get further in the industry.
I've had those same thoughts too. I feel you.
Yeah. Well, just even with the, like the age thing. Cause I remember being like 22 and thinking, oh my gosh, I only have a couple years to make it. And then I'm going to be too old, cause like when you would see like whatever, pick a movie and the lead girl would be like maybe 25, but then the lead guy is like 40. And I'm like, okay, if I have till 40 to make it, I could do this. But I'm thinking like, I only have a couple of years. Yeah, there's, but it is, I do think that it's like, it's starting to get there, but,
a lot of work.
It's just like as you get older, you're kind of like, there's that panic of like, it's like, I'm not that old, but it's like, you feel like you've missed the mark. And sometimes that can be frustrating. But again, that's me, being self-conscious in my own head,
No, but that's honest. I think those are really true. Like, those are really like the legit things that I think women particularly think about, in this industry. I've talked to so many women, that are in a certain position to hire people, right? They're in those positions. I love it when they hire a woman who's, older, because it's like refreshing to see that, oh, okay, you can still have jobs and work. Meryl Streep's not taking all the roles. I mean, we love Meryl Streep over here.
We do.
We love her. But it's really refreshing to see like an older woman with even I personally would love to see more older women in like those sexy kind of roles, because they do it the way they would do it with men all the time.
Yeah. Well, I know one of the things, it was when I was first starting and I got my first commercial agent. And I remember I went out for a mom role And I was only like 24 or something.
Wow.
I was really young. And I remember going, and I remember like being a little bit offended, like, do I look like a mom? And then I'm like, okay, realistically, mom, you can be a mom at, whatever age. But I remember I went there and I looked, because you did the audition with little kids, like a 2-year-old. And I saw the actual moms there. And I'm like, okay, they look like, and they're beautiful women, but I was like, they look like a mom.
Right.
Like, and I'm looking at me, I'm like, I look like a child. I'm like, I look like a child with their child. And I'm like, in my mind, I remember being at the casting thing and I'm like, why didn't they call in people, a little bit older? Why not? Like, why can't there be a commercial for whatever it was with someone like an actual mom age kind of thing?
I think it's a society, right? We're living in a very sexist ages.
Yeah.
It's really unfortunate.
It is.
I mean, I'm trying, with the micro level of influence, quote unquote, right, that I have, I try my best to get, because it's really tough when you're in those rooms and you're trying to fight for someone and you're like, I think she'll be great. Why? And I think she's better, and it's always young. Like it's a pretty, so, it's one of those things I try to consciously make that in my own work of art, like I try to do that. And because I want, I think in order to see change, we got to be the change.
Exactly.
You ever had those moments where you kind of forget a line or two and you're like, oh my God, I completely forgot? Are you always prepared? Like you've never kind of like doubted yourself?
I feel like the things I've had, I've always been prepared also, because either I didn't have as many lines too, or it was a smaller thing, and I'm so paranoid about like, what if I forget my line? So I will drill it and drill it and drill it. I'm sure it's going to come now that I've said this. Probably my next set, I'm going to be like, oh no, she was right. But normally I always have my lines with me and I'll like go over it before each scene or between takes. Cause I'm like, I never want to be the person to stall production because I don't know my lines.
I can't imagine. that is the reason why I never really went into the acting, because what I think what freaks me out is when you see the script and it's so thick and you're like, I gotta learn all these lines by when in my head when I first this is a lot of scenes, man, that's what freaked me out. But I obviously you do it in like certain days and you get prepared, but it
can be daunting.
I commend you.
Well, and thankfully, like the projects I have been done, I've actually been thankful that they've been like smaller parts or less lines, because it's like I'm learning how to do it. So I'm like, okay, by the time I have like scenes, hopefully one day, I'm like, at least I'll be prepared and go, okay, I can do it.
Yeah.
Give me the confidence I can do a bigger script.
What was there a role that you haven't played that you would like to play?
Honestly, just more of a leading role in something.
Yeah.
Because I've had like little supporting things here and there, but just kind of what we were talking about, to have the big meaty role with all this, because I like both comedy and drama, it would be fun to have a role that has both, whether it's like, oh, this funny character that like goes through something, or the serious character that it's like, oh, she's actually really weird and quirky kind of thing. Yeah. So I can't think of a specific role, but just one in general that has a lot of ups and downs and emotional this and that, just for the challenge. And it just looks like fun.
Yeah. I recently watched Candy with Jessica Biel. It was,
I've been wanting to watch it.
So
I haven't seen it
good.
Yet. Okay, I'll definitely do that.
Good. I mean, it's serious, but there are some comedic moments in it, but it's like a dark show, but also, I mean, it was so dark and heavy. There were just those moments, it's like pockets of funny moments. I was like, oh, thank God, this is a lot to take in, but I do like those complex characters, because I mean, that's what life is. That's what we're emulating life in a way. It's like life is not perfect and amazing.
Yeah. Well, and it's like you talk to anyone, like oh, they have a smile on their face, you think they're having a good day, and you're like, oh no, there's layers in there. But yeah, it's fun to play those, and have the different layers affecting different scenes, and yeah, it would be fun.
Who inspires you to keep going? Like who's someone you're like, you know what? or it could be, it could have to be personal. It could be just, you know, something that inspires you to keep going in this industry?
I probably my friend Natasha, because again, it's like up and down. We'll both go through up and downs, but she's a little bit older than me, and just seeing her, like, she has different things in her life that like are really big struggles, and seeing like, okay, if she can do it,
right,
I can do it. And then also just seeing her love for acting and just all of her ideas and stuff, because there's weeks, there's ups and downs where I'm like, you know, I'm kind of done. Like, I feel like we put in all this energy and nothing's coming from it. But then she'll be like, guys, we should do this. And I'm like, yeah, we should. So I think it's really important to find those other friends, you know, or family, you know, that shares that passion, because it kind of reminds you like why I'm here, why I want to do this. And like, you know what, at the end of the day, even if it doesn't go anywhere and we don't ever get a paycheck from this, like, it was still really fun. Because even 2 weeks, or not yesterday, the Friday before, we filmed another little skit for our web series. So it was and then so we're excited. And my boyfriend Cody, he actually directed it, and then another friend of ours filmed it.
Fantastic.
But just being on set the whole day, and my brother came out and he helped just with like, you know, hey, we need this moved, you know, that kind of thing. And just to have a group of just friends hanging out, having a good time and creating something, and seeing everyone's different creative process just come together. That was like another moment of like, okay, this is worth it. Even if it doesn't go anywhere, this was worth it.
No, you know what? But it does though. Eventually, like, I feel like it's like watering. It's like planting seeds, right? Over time. I mean, and then you see that whatever you produce, it's gonna happen. I mean, maybe not overnight, obviously. I mean, it's just, I think we live in a microwave society where there's a lot of people that just want to get in and just, it's like, that's that work, you know, it's really grueling, and it's long hours, it's up, sacrifice. But I think the wonderful thing is it does end up paying off. Like, I'll never forget, I remember when I first moved to LA, and I was in LA for like 10 years, longer than I thought, you know, I ever would be there. But I did 10 years, and the beginning, I remember getting I would go and get coffee for people, fetching coffee.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's super humbling. But obviously in my head, I wanted to be over here, and I went to school for film, and I have a cinematographer, you know, I did all that. And I was like, I wasn't getting that kind of those roles, not those jobs. And then I met someone, I remember, you know, and he put me on as a camera operator on his team. And it was just, you know, over time, but you know, they say that 10-year mark or whatever, I don't know what it is in LA, but it's something, things start to actually pick up. To go. And you're like, oh, okay, I'm getting the calls. Okay, you know, but there were times I was like, this sucks. You know, this is just horrible. No one told me it's going to be this difficult.
Right. Like, no one said, you only hear about the overnight successes, or what they claim are the overnight. Like, oh yeah, like I was in a parking lot and a director approached me and now I'm in this movie. And you're like, does that even happen? Or okay, that's 1 in a million.
Right. Exactly. So, well, I mean,
yeah. Well, and that's actually partly why we decided to do our own web series, is because we were all sick of like sending on auditions and not hearing back, which I know it's a numbers game. I get it. Yeah. And then also like, or you get something and be like, okay, like cool, but it's not really what I want, or like, you know, so that's why we're like, okay, let's write characters for ourselves that we want to play. And like, hey, we are the 3 main characters. We're not just the side character.
And it's so good, by the way. Please tell us like a little bit about like the show and like, what is it? Okay. For just so like people check it out and go to YouTube and watch it, because I think it's hilariously funny.
Yeah. So it's the 3 of us friends. And basically it's kind of like any friend dynamic. You have like the different people that play the different parts, and we're just it's like getting into stupid shit. Basically.
I love it. That's great. I want to watch it now. Like,
yeah, just it's just like three friends, like, oh, this is a good idea. And then they do it. It's like, oh, maybe that wasn't a good idea. But one still thinks it's a good idea.
Right, exactly. I love it. And fantastic. I'm glad that you guys did that. And I think that is the key to what we do. It's like in between time, in those quiet moments, it's just we should just always create, because Absolutely. Someone's watching it.
Yeah, you just gotta like keep putting stuff out there.
Yeah. I don't know if you agree with this. I think the ultimate goal, or most people, I think, want to be able to go and create, and like without any type, like that financial freedom, that you can just create whatever you want, like the Tyler Perry dream of.
Well, I know for me, because like with acting, because sometimes people are like, well, why did you want to be an actress? And it's like, it's because I'm passionate about it, and it's what I love doing. I'm like, to be honest, I don't want to be famous. I don't want to be walking down the street trying to get a coffee and someone being like, oh, let's take a picture, blah, blah. I would, obviously, but it's like, I don't want to be bothered everywhere I go.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't have to make billions of dollars or whatever. I'm like, I would just like to make enough to make a living, to live comfortably and be able to make a living off of doing what I love. And for me, I loved acting because I feel like it's a special thing where you can connect with people in a way that other mediums can't, and inspire people. And that's honestly why I wanted to do it. I'm like, okay, I want to be there. I want to do acting, and hopefully one day, like, my art will inspire other people and help them in a way that it's helped me. And that's my ultimate goal. I'm like, I don't really care about the money. Yes, I would like to live comfortably, but I'm like, I don't want a mansion. I just, maybe bigger than the apartment I'm in right now, but
yes, I love that. I love that. Yeah. What advice would you give to somebody that wants to get into acting?
Be prepared for a lot of rejection. I know you hear it all the time, but it really is. It's like you will hear 100 no's before you hear a yes. My ratio is probably even more than that, more no's. But also, I think it's really important to figure out why you want to do it. Like, if you're just doing it for the money, the get rich quick, or if you're doing it to be famous, that's not the reason to do it. And just, and just realize, it is, think about the sacrifices you're going to have to make. Like, for me, I'm like, yeah, I am living in, like, I have all my friends are married with houses right now. And I'm like in a small apartment. I'm living with my brother and my adorable kitten. And and I'm very thankful. I would not change it, because it's worth it to me to create and do this art. So it's definitely like, why do you want to do it? Are you willing to sacrifice other things to do it? And if so, like, go for it, do it.
I love that. That's great advice. Where can people find you on social media to follow you and all that good stuff?
Instagram, it's at actress Adriana. So that's my main one right now, because I'm really bad with social media marketing. So
it's a lot of work.
But yeah, mainly Instagram, because I'm like from there. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on and talking with us.
Yeah.
And giving us some great gems to think about in life. So I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun. So thank you.
Thank you, darling. And thank you all for listening. And always remember to live, love, laugh. Bye, guys.